Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our board meeting. We are going to start with roll call. Mr. Thomas?
Berrigan.
Here.
Ms. Anderson.
Here.
Dr. Watkins.
Here.
Mrs. Obey.
Here.
Mrs. Getzke.
Here.
And if you can please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we need to approve the agenda for the evening.
Motion.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
5-0, Mr. Thomas. Motion.
Michelle.
Michelle. Who seconded? Okay. We're going to go slow and loud for Mr. Thomas tonight. Okay. We need to approve the minutes from the April 11th board meeting. Do I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. Did you catch that? Ms. Getzke. And Ms. Beck.
We could just say our names.
That might help.
Motion by Ms. Getzke.
Second by Ms. Beck. It's been motioned and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
That's 5-0. Dr. Sprout, Superintendent's report.
Well, let's give a round of applause to our new governing board secretary, Tim Thomas. You can rest easy for a few minutes here, Tim. All right, here we go. In honor of staff, good evening. Thank you, President Berrigan, governing board members. In honor of Staff Appreciation Week, I wanted to take a moment to express my and our deepest gratitude to all of our over 1,000 employees. Their dedication, passion, and commitment to our students and to one another are truly remarkable and deeply appreciated by everyone in our school community. Our theme this year is Growing Together, a recognition of our work together to grow our students and one another, and they make it happen every day. Let's give our 1,000 plus employees of the Levine Elementary School District a huge round of applause. Before you move on, Butch, you will notice that we have a lot of staff appreciation involves food. We catered a lunch for them, and I know our PTOs and booster clubs all supported them. They received gifts from the governing board, and so thank you again to our staff. Please give me or join me in giving a huge round of applause and congratulations to Desert Meadow School Principal J.P. Ketchum, recipient of the 2024 Maricopa County Exemplary Principal Award. This is a very prestigious award in which principals are chosen using a very rigorous selection process, which includes a nomination, then you have a staff survey, then you have a principal interview, and a site visit. Principals earning this award have a history of high student achievement, student growth, and teacher retention with evidence of a strong student and community-centered culture focused on teaching and learning. Not only is this a tremendous individual honor for JP, but he would want us to say that this is also an award that reflects the outstanding work of every staff member at Desert Meadows School. Mr. Ketchum joins Lisa Sandomir, Sarah Zambruski, and Tim Thomas. I believe that's our folks that have, as our fourth principal to receive this award. Mr. Ketchum, if you would please come forward. And again, a round of applause for Jason. Tonight we have 3 employees who are retiring, and we wanted to recognize them for their service. First, we have Mr. Enrique Cortez, who is a crossing guard at Desert Meadows. He has worked for us for 16 years and done, simply put, exemplary work in serving the Desert Meadows school community. Enrique, if you would please come forward. Our second retiree is our developmental preschool teacher at Levine School. He has worked for us for 17 years, 31 years total in education, and that is, well, Mr. Jonathan, as everyone knows him, but Jonathan Claus. For both of you, the door will always be open if you get bored and want to come back, but thank you for your years of service. Our first Levine Exploration of Academic Pathways, or LEAP, was a huge success with over 147 students and their parents attending last week. 19 high schools and 2 universities participated, and we had our jobs of the future table set up as well. This event provided middle school students and their parents the opportunity to shop and ask questions to assist them with their important decision of which high school to attend, and even to start looking forward to a university. We are planning on doing at least 2 LEAP events per year in the future, and our high schools and universities absolutely love the event. They will definitely be back, and we are looking forward to next year. Thank you to our team that organized that. As a district and community, we are dedicated to providing art education to all students. And our second annual art show showcased the remarkable artwork being produced every day in our art classes under the guidance of our incredible art teachers. This year's event featured over 300 pieces of art from across all schools displayed in a pop-up gallery here in the boardroom, and you can see evidence of that. We have the whole center set up with art as well, 3D art. It was an incredible evening, and so let's give our artists and our art teachers a huge round of applause. Board, we have been talking about this now for a little over a year, and I'm very excited to that we are seeing a 4-year process come to culmination tonight. As a district, we are committed to being the best educational option in this community. And one way we do that is through offering signature programs at each of our schools. In saying that, I'm very proud that Rogers Ranch STEM Academy is the first school in the state of Arizona to receive the National Certificate for STEM Excellence. Bottom line, you could put STEM on your school and not be STEM. We put STEM on our school, we are STEM. And this rigorous process that the Rogers Ranch team went through has demonstrated that they have integrated STEM best practices and 21st century learning and professional development. Rogers Ranch STEM Academy has shown a commitment to and a growth in both of these areas, and again, this is the culmination of 4 years of work by Principal Megan Hamburg and her team. And we would like to call key team members up here to be recognized, and we have a beautiful plaque here. And where are my? Here we go. First, Principal Megan Hamburg, if you would please come forward. Next, one of our teachers, instructional coach, Kaylee Owens. Instructional coach, Elena Huggins. Teacher, Michelle Headley. Teacher, Leslie Garcia. And Miss Pineda, Miss Christina Pineda. I would also like to recognize Mr. Andrew Weeks, who is here representing the our organization. And so, Mr. Weeks, thank you for being here as well. So come on up. Andrew, we can get you in a picture. We can give to our amateur photographer here.
She's got a professional camera.
And also you can see the banner that we'll be hanging this up obviously on the campus to send the message to our entire community about this accomplishment. And so again, congratulations, Rogers Ranch. Paseo Point Dual Language Academy held its annual Feria de Talleres, an annual celebration highlighting students' Spanish language proficiency. Translated as Workshop Expo in English, this event embodies our commitment to linguistic and cultural development at Paseo Point Dual Language Academy. Each grade level selected a theme and engaged in project preparation, allowing students to demonstrate their Spanish skills. Themes have spanned from animal habitats and hobbies and talents to careers and family trees. Each project was incorporated visual, written, and verbal components, ensuring a comprehensive showcase of language abilities. A great event that I had a chance to attend, and once again, evidence of one of our other signature programs, our dual language Spanish program at Paseo Point. As we wrap up the 23-24 school year, For the Superintendent's Math All-Stars season, I am pleased to report a year filled with enthusiasm for math and fantastic achievements. From our start in late September through the end of April, our Math All-Stars have completed 978,335 minutes of extra math practice. Let's give them a round of applause. All of our students. Now, my All-Star Club is made up of 3rd and 4th grade students throughout the district, and they tackle challenges each month and grow in their math abilities. Tonight, we would like to honor each school's top students and give out 2 brand new school awards. Please join me in congratulating our students who earned the most minutes at their school. Now, I'm not sure if everyone is here or not, but I'm going to go ahead and say their name. So, our first student from Trailside Point is Logan Arevalo. Is Logan here? All right, there he is. Logan. We had a tie at Rogers Ranch STEM Academy of Leonardo Garcia Martinez and Joaquin Garcia Martinez. From Paseo Point Dual Language Academy, we have Sophie Winsess. From Desert Meadows School, we have Faith Mendoza. From Levine Elementary School, Christopher Ramirez Espinoza. From Cheatham Elementary, Hannah Trin. Hannah Trin. From Vista del Sur Accelerated Academy, Janie Doe. Next, this student from Cheatham Elementary School completed over 10,000 minutes in 2 years, Gabriel Ledesma. Well, this young man is going into the Hall of Fame for sure. He just wrapped up 4th grade, and so he'll be, like I said, in the Hall of Fame. He has completed over 25,000 minutes in 2 years in the All-Star Math Club. That's from EFGA, Jason Guan. Jason. All right. We have 2 school awards that we would like to recognize, so the principals please come up for that. We call our first one the Swinging for the Fences Award, and that recognizes remarkable effort and improvement from one year to the next, and that is awarded to Cheatham Elementary School. So, come on up, Ms. Passion. And our season champion for the school year with the highest total of minutes in the district goes to Paseo Point Dual Language Academy. So, parents, if you'd like to come up and get a picture, please feel free to do so. On May 1st, our district hosted our annual Science and Engineering Fair. Judges selected first, second, and third place winners from each grade level in grades 5 through 8. Our students did an outstanding job in showcasing their projects. I'd like to say a special congratulations to Maliana McDuff, who was the overall winner. This was an incredible project with very real application in our world as she studied the impact of using pool covers to conserve water. So would you please come up? Ms. McDuff, come on up. I froze on that, and it's Maliana McDuff. Sorry, Maliana. Paseo Point student Owen Towley was named the Student of the Month by the Arizona State Board of Education. Paseo Point nominated Owen for his leadership, high academic achievement. Specifically, he started in 3rd grade at Paseo Point and caught up to all of his classmates in his Spanish language skills and his athletic achievements. Owen embodies the vision of empowering excellence in the dual language program. Owen, would you please come forward, and congratulations for being the Student of the Month. And once again, I forgot my name guides tonight, and that's Owen Toll. And congratulations. This represents all students in the state of Arizona, and so it's a great honor for you, Owen. Each year, the East Valley Council for Exceptional Children holds an award ceremony to recognize students and staff. The president of the EVCEC is Jen Vini, life skills teacher at Levine. Through her encouragement, Levine staff nominated Levine students for the first time ever, and we had some winners. The following 3 students received Outstanding Students Awards at a recent celebration. First, we have Raymond Gallegos from Ms. Turner's class at Levine Elementary. Is Raymond here? Raymond. Next, from Ms. White's class at Levine Elementary School, Angelina Perez. And from Estrella Foothills Global Academy in Ms. Pearson and Ms. Tolman's class, Esmeralda Ramirez. And now we move on to sport. Our 2024 district kickball tournament came to a peaceful end. Thank you to our staff who came out to play or cheer on their school's kickball team. Thank you to our CFO, Charlie Martin, who was at the grill. We had a phenomenal turnout, and a good time was had by all. Congratulations to Cheatham School for repeating as the Levine School District kickball champions. Moving on. Please. Congratulations to the Paseo Point Dual Language Academy girls basketball team and the Trailside Point Performing Arts Academy flag football team for winning the district champions in girls basketball and football. Yeah. I want to thank everyone who ensured we had an outstanding intramural sports year this year. We run 3 different seasons. It's all overseen by our staff outside of the school day. And so this includes our coaches, obviously, athletic directors, but what we can't forget about is our grounds crew, our bus drivers provide transportation, and our administrators who are there in the evenings. Without your efforts, it would not be possible to give our students these experiences. Once again, congratulations to Paseo Point and Trailside Point. A team from Levine Elementary School attended the annual Rise and Shine breakfast presented by the Be Kind People Project, a Phoenix-based nonprofit whose goal is to initiate and sustain positive change in schools, and to provide learning opportunities that inspire humanity, academic achievement, and healthy living for students. At this event, the husband and wife law team presented a full program scholarship to Levine Elementary School valued at $10,000 to support the school's health and wellness focus. And now, we move on to our employees of the month. Our first employee of the month is Andre Billman, PE teacher at Cheatham Elementary. Coach Billman, as he's known on the Cheatham campus, has consistently gone above and beyond in his dedication to our school community. From supporting our Reading Buddies program to greeting our students each morning with a warm smile, Coach Billman embodies the spirit of dedication, kindness, and positivity. He plays a crucial role in mentoring the students who participate in the boys' mentoring group and has taught his students invaluable life skills. Did I mention that he is a founding member and probably the most competitive person on the Cheatham staff kickball team? We thank you, Andre, for being such an impactful member of our team. Andre, please come forward. Employee of the Month is Adi Leal Delgado. Adi serves as our district parent liaison and district receptionist. Everyone who works at the Levine Education Center, that's this building, has had the pleasure of interacting or working with Adi, whose main role is that of our district parent liaison. In addition to this role, she also works as our district receptionist, where she always greets everyone with a smile and a helpful attitude. She is a strong supporter of our district, both as an employee and a parent, and is always present at community events that promote our district. Thank you, Adi, for bringing positivity to our district. And if you would please come forward, that would we'd love to celebrate.
Every single day, every morning, she greets me. I can't tell you how thankful I am for her. She is amazing on our staff. She's an incredible light to our office. We have such fun with her and the rest of our staff. You ask her to do anything, she is right there. She helped out with the LEAP event. She's helping out with back to school clothing drive. She takes on anything. She is like my right-hand person. She will get me out of things. As soon as I need her help, she's there. And I'm so proud of her. She took on extra this year, taking college classes, working towards her associate's degree. So not only is she a great member of our staff, but she's an incredible role model to her family. And we're very blessed to have her in our district, on our staff as well. And I also want to congratulate her because she got married on Monday and was only going to take a half day. But I made her take the whole day. But we are so excited to have her, and I hope I get to enjoy her for many more years to come because we just have such a great team. So,
So a lot of celebration tonight of great things happening in our school district. If you're wondering what's coming next, well, I'll tell you, we're going to have our Desert Meadows School Classroom Spotlight. After that, we will take a break. We urge you all to stay here and enjoy this presentation by our students and staff at Desert Meadows. So I will turn it over to J.P. Ketchum, Principal J.P. Ketchum.
Thank you. Good evening, President Berrigan, members of the governing board, Dr. Sprout, and guests. Thank you for the opportunity to present to you this evening. This last year has been a truly exceptional and exciting year for our signature program. At Desert Meadows, that's our coding program. Last summer, we hosted our first ever coding camp involving over 25 students. We're going to expand that, make that even bigger this summer. And in the fall, we transformed our library or part of our library, into a fully functioning coding cafe. Tonight, Mr. Rivera will give you an update on our program, and then some of our amazing 7th and 8th grade students are going to help you navigate a drone challenge. And so that's going to be pretty exciting. Can't wait to see which one of you will be able to excel at that challenge. I hope you enjoyed tonight's presentation, and I will turn it over to Mr. Rivera.
Well, good evening, members of the governing board, Dr. Sprouts, parents, Mr. Ketchum, Dr. G, and everyone from Desert Meadows and all our family and friends. My name is Mr. Rivera, Troy Rivera, and I am the technology coding teacher at Desert Meadows, one of the greatest places that I love because I love what I do on a daily basis. It's really fun. Get to come to school and actually work and play with computers and toys and coding stuff. So here tonight, I'm here to kind of give you a little update of what we've done in the last year since we came here last year and talked about our coding program. So our biggest goal is to teach our students in Desert Meadows about what coding does. It's a great opportunity. It's more than just Python, it's more than block coding, but it's about critical thinking skills. It's about preparing our students for the 21st century of what's out in the world. And there's a lot of change happening, and if you ever keep up with the technology in the world, it's always advancing. So you always have to be 5 years ahead of the game and have our students prepare for that, and that's the goal at Desert Meadows when we're working in our classrooms. As Mr. Ketchum said, in January we had our grand opening, and as you can see in the pictures, that is the amazing Coding Cafe, is what we call it, brought to you by Vulcan Materials, who's our big supporter and donator for all of that stuff. So the picture on the left is where the students go in, and that's the classroom where all the lessons and things are taught. And then on the picture on the right in the very back, that's our gaming lab, that's our working lab, where it's still in progress. I'm not done yet. Just going to let everyone know I'm not done building what we need to get done in there, but it's such a great space that it's opened so much opportunities for our students at Desert Meadows that it's amazing. Of course, that is our scope and sequence, lots of hours put into it. It is a working document. It is changing because what we're doing is keeping updated with all the new LESD standards and technology standards and making sure that our students are getting the best coding programs that possible out there, reading a lot of research of where everything's changing. And so what's showing up right there has been kind of modified and changed to make sure that our K through 8 students are getting the best programs that we possibly can for our students. And so like I said, it's a working document. It's not something that's going to stay that way forever. It's always changing and growing. This year, we did our pitch to Vulcan Materials along with Rogers Ranch in November, and we were granted $17,000. I've already spent $7,000. So got a nice little cushion, but we were able to update some of our programs. We were able to bring in some new programs. And the kind of person that I am, I like to make sure we spend our money wise. I don't like to just buy things extra. But we like to make sure that we have the best materials for our students, and so a big shout out to Vulcan Materials who granted us that money, and it's always a pleasure to always have that to help our students. This year in our coding programs, we did Codable, which was our K2 class. 7th and 8th graders went through the project STEM. Our 3rd through 6th grade went through the code.org. We did introduce microbits, RVR pluses, and also the drone curriculum in our 7th and 8th grade elective class for our students, and going from there. And then tonight, my drone instructors are going to take one of you or many of you and make you go through a drone race to see who can maneuver it, because flying a drone is not very easy, whether you have the camera or it's a remote control, because you're controlling it and it likes to do its own thing. So you're going to have to challenge that tonight. We are continuing with our esports. We do have 3 new gaming computers, and now we just have an additional 3 new computers. So all our computers in the gaming for esports are all up to date and got all the gaming chairs. It's the best place to be when they're competing. It's phenomenal. It gives another opportunity for our students to do that as well. This year we're doing our 2nd year of our Summer Coding Academy. Last year we were able to offer 3 courses. We had about 30-some kids come to our summer coding program, and we did Makey Makes, we did Minecraft Education, and we did Edison Robots. This year we've expanded it to 4 different programs, and the one that's returning is the Minecraft Education. We're going to be doing it in Dot and Dash. We're incorporating art and digital arts, and then we're doing a drone program. And this year we have 43 solid students who did apply this year. So we've kind of hit our cap and everything. The one thing that I love about this opportunity for our students is if you look at any coding camp during the summer, they range $400 or more per student for 1 week. And so with those wonderful things from Vulcan, we're able to provide our students these kind of coding camps free with no charge to them at all. So that's something that we want to keep pushing down the road and driving down for our students. What's ahead? Again, like I said, we're keeping up with the scope and sequence of an alignment of our technology and making sure everything is aligned for our students. This year, we worked on our certifications and our portfolios for kindergarten, 3rd, and 6th. Next year, we'll start building 1st, 4th, and 7th grade. And then the goal is to have the year after that, The last grades of 2nd, 5th, and 8th, and then by that, after the years of 26 and 27 and further on, all students will have a portfolio of some type of certification going from there. So we're really excited about that. So before we get started to talking about drones, I've got 3 quiz questions for you. Okay, let's see if everyone knows the answers to these. These are 3 questions that you would find in the recreational certification that my 7th and 8th graders have a certificate now in, so they can fly a drone recreational. It was provided to them, and these 3 questions are part of that, what's asked. So question number 1 is, how high can you fly a recreational drone? What do you think the height is? 50 feet, higher than that. Higher than that.
1,000.
Lower than that. Lower than that. 400. You can fly a drone recreational 400 feet up into the air. Anything after that, you have to have a certification that allows you to fly at 400 or above through the FAA or some of the drone programs out there. True or false, a recreational flyer must always keep a drone with their visual line of sight, even if it has a camera. True. Even though it has a camera, you still have to have visual light. Even if you have your partner, so if Dr. Sprout and Tim Thomas were out there flying a drone, just because they have 2 people, it has to be in both of their visual light. Otherwise, if it's not, you can get in trouble by the law enforcement or the FAA. Last question is, if asked, you got busted, what recreational flyer must provide the law enforcement or FAA? What documents do you think they need to supply them with? Bribery might work for you, but you know. Any guesses?
A permit?
A permit? $100 bill? There's 2 documents. You have to have the registration that your drone is registered through the FAA. Has to have that, and it has to be written on the outside of your drone, your registration number. And you have to have the certification to show which certification you fall under. So if you're a recreational, you have to have the certification as a recreational that shows that. The reason I brought in the drone is because by 2034, they're projecting that drone in the United States is going to be about a $500 billion business, and it's going to be in the trillions worldwide. The biggest thing that they shared with us in the training I was in is that they're looking right now, as we know, Waymo is now going to go up to the air. They're thinking about kind of like Uber drones. So you no longer need to take it on the road, you can take it in the air. So they're looking at that. So our students got to learn about what is about the safeties of that, what would happen if that actually happens. And then if you ever pay attention, a lot of drone businesses are now starting to pop up. And that's what I look at for our students, is entrepreneur business, that you can start your own drone business for real estate, for land survey, which is what Vulcan does a lot for. There's so many things, and it's just an expanding and a growing opportunity on that. So with that said, I'm going to give you guys a pass by today that you are certified to fly a drone. Your drone instructors today are going to be Caden Griffin, Valentino Martinez, Alex Mendez, Cindy Walton, Anaya Begay, and Sophia Nunez. They are my 7th and 8th grade students. They have earned their certificates, so they are going to come and show you how to fly a drone, but you're going to have a challenge. As you can see, you have a race there. So your goal is, through your instructor, is to lift off from the launch pad, go through, and they're going to tell you the directions you need to go through, and land back on the launch pad as close as you can. I might time you because it is also part of our club that we have, which is the drone racing. So the ones that you're working with tonight are drone racers. That's what we do for our students, is they have to get time to see who can do the fastest. You ready for this? All right. racing drones. The one thing that's interesting about these drones is you have to pair them off individually, because if you pair them while the other one's on, you're going to control all 5 of them. So each remote control has to be done by itself. The other drones that we have are tele-drones, which they are identified, and those are the ones with the cameras. So.
All right.
Battery lives are not very long. And just an FYI, you'll learn that drones, depending on the size, the bigger the drone, the more battery power you're going to need. So if you're shopping for drones, don't buy the ones immediately because they look stylish. Look at your battery power life. These ones have an average of around about 13 minutes of battery life, and then you have to switch them out. So even though we've got a lot of batteries, rechargeable batteries, everything, they don't have a very long battery life. We have about 2 minutes. I know they're all dying out.
She's a menace.
For the competitive spirit, you've got 1 minute. All right, did it out? Okay.
I like got it around and then lost control.
Battery died.
Yeah. Right behind your head, and I was like, oh my god, don't let it get her hair. Right? I saw that. I was like, oh.
So as you can see, drones are not really easy as remote control cars because the one thing you have to take in consideration that I teach the students is the air. Any small, simple error of your AC can knock it off course, so you have to be very careful about that. If you're going to fly it outside, of course, you know, if you want a good wind-resistant drone, it's going to cost you a little bit more because of the stability of that. So I always tell the students, when you get ready to shop for drones or you're having your parents buy you one for Christmas or birthdays, really shop for the best one, depending on what the usage you're going to use the drone for. So with that, thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Come up with your students and we'll get a quick picture. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Rivera, Mr. Ketchum. I can't help but feel that I disappointed my, sorry, okay, well, we did violin too, and that didn't go very well. I don't know, a few meetings ago, but parents, thank you for bringing your students here. We greatly appreciate it. We have a lot of family members that are here tonight to recognize retirees and award winners. We are so proud and thankful for your family members, for your students, that they're part of our community. And so, and I know that you're proud of them as well. And so I think I'll turn it over to the president here, but I think she's going to tell you to go out and celebrate, right?
I'm going to do that.
Okay.
But first, I just want to say to the parents, I appreciate you sharing your kids with us this evening. Just as a reminder, it is Staff Appreciation Week, and we have an incredible team here in Laveen at all of our schools here at the district office, and I would just ask that you make sure you take an opportunity to appreciate them tomorrow, even if it's just a deep and sincere thank you for the incredible things they do with the kids every day of the year. I'm incredibly grateful for every single one of them. So yes, please go out and celebrate your accomplishments and achievements tonight. And you can stay for the business portion of our meeting if you like, but people usually don't. So we'll take a break now. Give us a budget presentation. That was Mr. Kissel.
It fluctuates day by day. Good evening, President Berrigan, Dr. Sprout, and members of the governing board. I have a brief presentation tonight on our first and only revised budget for the 23-24 school year. I'll jump right into that and start with a little bit of background. So we first proposed a budget for the current school year back in June of 2023. We then adopted that budget a month later in July of 2023. And the budgets that were adopted back in June and July of last year had some underlying assumptions about how many students would be enrolled this year and a few other things. School districts will typically revise budgets in December or May each year. In December, you're required to if your budget is more than 1% different than calculations done by the Department of Education based on the students enrolled. We were close enough this year that we didn't need to revise in December, but now with about 2 months left in the current year, we're revising our budget to true up to what we know at this point in time. There were a few key changes that are incorporated into our budget revision related to the number of students that are enrolled or average daily membership, and also our fund balances to start the school year. Both were higher than we expected last summer. So weighted average daily membership, which is a number that incorporates the number of students that are enrolled and also characteristics of those students that generate add-on funding like special education weights. That was 0.7% higher than we projected in our budget last summer. What's interesting is our unweighted K-8 ADM, which is close to a headcount enrollment, was a bit lower than we thought in the budget, but that was more than offset by having more preschool students and more special education students than we thought at that point. So the net effect was higher weighted average daily membership and slightly higher budget limits and higher funding. Our beginning fund balances for the school year were also higher than we thought last summer, and that ties back to the conversation in October when our annual financial report was presented. We got a grant towards the end of last school year that led to additional fund balance. And also on the capital side, we had some purchases that weren't delivered by the end of the year or projects that carried into the next year, which led to a bit higher capital fund balance. Considering those changes and our spending year to date and commitments for the rest of the year, we expect our ending fund balances for the Maintenance and Operations Fund and Unrestricted Capital Fund to be $4.5 million and $21.7 million. On the M&O side, that's an increase of about $2 million this year, and that's mainly tied to one-time funding that the district received this year that we only used a portion of to hire some teachers mid-year. That the state had $300 million of one-time funding for school districts in the budget this year, and it seemed likely that wouldn't be recurring, and so we have some of that available to continue for this project in the future. On the unrestricted capital side, our fund balance is about flat where it ended last year, and that's tied to a few of the projects carrying over from last school year and our planned capital spending for this school year. So that balance is about flat. These are projections at this point, but looking ahead to October, we'll have our financial results for the 23-24 school year, and the annual financial report will be on the governing board agenda on October 2nd. That'll be unaudited information, but then the results of our third-party audit will be available and on the governing board agenda in February of 2025. That'll be our audited financial statements and the annual compliance questionnaire. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions about our revised budget for 23-24.
Any questions? Okay, thank you very much. And I don't know if you heard, but we are expected to have budget forms for next year by May 23rd.
I heard that rumor and was very happy that we'll have
Yes.
some time to plan, so
Yes.
that's great.
Things that make Charlie and I happy. Thank you. Oh, and I think you're doing the next one, bonds and overrides.
I'm up here for 3 total presentations tonight. So President Berrigan, Dr. Sprout, and members of the governing board. My second presentation will be a quick overview of the district's bonds and overrides, and also some information about the election calendar for 2024. I'll jump right into that with a little bit of background information about bonds and overrides. So bonds and overrides are 2 ways that local voters are able to provide additional support to their local school districts above and beyond what's provided through the state funding formula. Bonds provide upfront funding for capital projects and capital investments that are then repaid over time. And bonds can be used for things like acquiring land, building and renovating schools, supplying school buildings with furniture, equipment, and technology, improving grounds, and also buying school buses and transportation vehicles. Overrides, on the other hand, are additional ongoing funding that's on top of the amounts provided by the state, and that can be for maintenance and operations or capital. Because these are additional resources, bonds and overrides both play a significant role in districts' operations and capital planning. I'll quickly review the district's bonds. Going back to November of 2015, voters approved a $42 million bond authority for the district. The governing board has approved 3 bond sales to fully utilize that authority. So in December 2015, August 2019, and September 2023, we utilized that $42 million bond authority. And there still is $19.47 million in our bond fund from the sale this past fall, and that'll be used for the improvement and expansion of existing schools, beginning with our renovations at Vista del Sur Accelerated Academy this summer. The 2015 bond authorization has contributed to a lot of major projects in the district, most notably construction of Paseo Point, also the classroom additions at Cheatham in 2020. The bonds contributed to a portion of the EFGA school construction in 2021, funded the Desert Meadows preschool in 2022, and most recently, bond funds were used to purchase school buses and install Promethean boards and security cameras at schools in the district. Looking ahead, future bonds will be used mainly for land acquisition or school construction, additions, and improvements, anticipating the growth in the district. I'll shift now to talk a little bit about the district's overrides. So overrides, again, state law defines a base level of funding for every school district, and voters have the ability to exceed that amount from local property taxes to provide additional operating resources and capital resources to districts. For maintenance and operations, overrides can be up to 15% of what's called the revenue control limit, which is a formula number calculated under state law. And on the district additional assistance or capital side, overrides can be up to 10% of the revenue control limit. Right now, the district has both an M&O and a capital override. On the M&O side, the override supports free full-day kindergarten, which is something that the state funding formula does not fully support. It funds art, music, physical education, and other electives, and then also competitive salaries and benefits to help the district attract and retain employees. And when it comes to competitive salaries and benefits, I've looked at some data. Every school district publishes average teacher salary information. There's reports that show which districts have overrides, and there's a noticeable difference in the average salary for districts with overrides and districts without. So that's why those additional resources play a big role in operations. On the capital side, the district's capital or DAA override supports repair, renovation, and improvement of school buildings, technology, textbooks, library books, and instructional aids, furniture and equipment, and school buses. To give you an idea of the amount of resources provided to the district from the overrides, the 15% M&O override for the district provided $7.5 million in funding this year. That override was last extended by voters in November of 2020, and it'll be fully in effect until the 25-26 school year, after which it'll start to phase down. On the DAA override side, the DAA override provided about $5 million of funding to the district this year. That one is also fully in effect until the 25-26 school year, and DAA overrides work a little bit differently than M&O in that they don't phase down, they just expire after the last year that they're in effect. So looking at this, the overrides are fully in effect until the 25-26 school year, which means the last election before those overrides begin to go away or expire would be in November 2025. But districts typically ask voters to extend overrides 1 year before funding is at risk, just to guard against any unexpected outcomes and provide more ability to plan. So that would be November 2024 would be 2 years before they expire. I'll transition to share some information about the election timetable for 2024. So May 2nd, or actually today, May 9th, was a deadline for districts to notify the county of intent to call for an election. That's something that districts are advised to do if there's any chance of calling for an election. From there, and that's something that our legal counsel did for us on behalf of the district, knowing that there was a chance the district would be asking for an election this year. June 24th is the deadline to deliver ballot language to the county. July 8th is the deadline to provide a signed resolution calling for an election. It's also the deadline for publicity pamphlet text. And so those dates, June 24th and July 8th, will be between our June and July board meetings. August 7th is the deadline to post notice of an election, and August 9th is the deadline to submit pro and con statements. Governing boards for school districts are required to submit pro statements for overrides, but not for bonds, and that can be individual basis statements, pro or con. Looking further into the fall, October 1st is when informational pamphlets are mailed to voters. October 7th is the last day for voter registration. On October 9th, early voting ballots start to be ready to be mailed to voters. And October 25th is the last day to request an early ballot. And then November 5th, of course, is election day when voters finally weigh in on anything on the ballot. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions about bonds, overrides, or the election timetable for this year.
Questions? Comments?
I think mostly, I imagine you'll do this anyway, but just keep us up to date on how we can help with the process, whether that's spreading the word or when we can give pro statements and what things, 'cause I'd love to support it however we can.
Definitely.
So, will the resolution be on next board agenda?
On the June board agenda,
June
yep,
board
and that'll
agenda.
be in time to meet the deadlines on the 24th and the 8th.
Okay.
Yep.
That's the first way we can support. Okay, thank you. Number 3.
All right. All right, and I promise this is my last presentation tonight. So President Berrigan, Dr. Sprout, members of the board. Well, this will be the last time that you hear from me at this podium tonight. So I'll also share some information about our 5-year capital plan tonight. And starting the conversation about the 5-year capital plan, I want to share some concepts that go into making decisions related to our 5-year capital plan. That's our need to maintain and improve our buildings and infrastructure, the need to consider how long the components of our buildings will last, so the life cycle and when things need to be replaced. And then also the idea that preventative maintenance generates savings for the district compared to reactive maintenance. So it's better to replace things when they're at the end of their useful life than to wait for something to fail and have a mess to clean up along with the replacement. This next slide shows the life cycle for different building components and things that we need to keep in mind in planning our 5-year capital plan. So the major components of our school buildings have a useful life of 10 to 20 years in general. Exterior paint needs to be replaced the soonest. That usually lasts 7 to 10 years. Building roofs last around 20 years, and a lot of other important components last somewhere in that 10 to 20 year range. That's particularly important to keep in mind because this next slide shows when our schools were built, and the majority of our schools were built between 10 and 20 years ago. So we have several schools that are now coming up to the point where some component of the building needs to be replaced or redone for the first time. 4 or 5 years ago, some of our schools were not quite in that 10-year-old range, and we didn't have as many of these projects, but we'll have quite a few in the next few years. We leverage the School Facilities Oversight Board and the Building Renewal Grant Program for our building component replacement needs. The School Facilities Oversight Board provides building renewal grants as long as districts are keeping up with preventative maintenance, which the district does. And so far this year, we'll complete over $300,000 of projects through the Building Renewal Grant Program. This year, that's mainly things like water heaters and individual HVAC units at a number of schools, but this will grow into larger projects over the next few years as our school hit the age that roofs and things like that need to be replaced. So some of the larger upcoming School Facilities Oversight Board eligible projects for the district include roofs for 3 schools, Desert Meadows, MC Cash, and Rogers Ranch. Weatherization, which is a fancy word for exterior painting and sealing for the majority of our schools. And then we also expect continued HVAC unit replacements at a couple schools as well. The projects just listed on this slide here represent about $15 to $20 million worth of work, and so you can see how important it is that we go through this process, secure the building renewal grant funding and use that to the extent that we possibly can for all these improvements. Going beyond school facilities board eligible projects, several other capital projects that will be coming up. Vista Del Sur Accelerated Academy renovations. This summer, half of the classrooms at Vista will be renovated and there'll be bathrooms added to kindergarten classrooms. Next summer, the other half of the classrooms at Vista will be renovated. And then looking a little bit further out, we'll be planning to update that campus to be able to accommodate 4 classrooms at each grade level. The Levine Education Center project is starting to get going this year. We're beginning to design the expansion of the Levine Education Center, and looking into next year, probably this time next year, there could be construction ongoing for the new transportation building and an expansion here at the LEC. Design work for school number 10, initial design work is starting in anticipation of qualifying for state funding for that school next December. We're looking into solar covered parking at the schools that don't have it yet and hope to add that in the next few years. And are also looking into front entry updates and renovations to the district standard for all schools. That's a project, that bullet point at the end is something that we intend to pursue in the next year or two, but that there won't be anything started until there's a larger presentation to this board to share what those sorts of updates could entail. So more to come on that in the future. A few other projects that are on our 5-year capital plan to highlight. There'll be exterior lighting improvements at a number of schools. This includes replacing lights attached to the outside of the building with brighter LEDs, adding lighting to the courtyard at Trailside Point, and just improving visibility around campuses. There'll also be irrigation pumps replaced at 3 schools to make sure that we're able to get water where we need to maintain our grounds. The fire panel at Trailside Point will be replaced. That's what controls the fire safety system there, and that has now, on the earlier slide, those last about 15 years. We're now beyond that for Trailside Point, and this is one that's starting to have problems and that we'll replace before there's any complete failure. And then concrete work at a few schools, so where there's cracking, concrete that's not level, to address trip hazards and update that. Shifting from buildings to talk a little bit about transportation, we'll continue to refresh the bus fleet for the district. We average about 4 or 5 buses replaced per year to keep buses no older than 10 years old. Transportation Department finds that once a bus becomes more than 10 years old, the cost to maintain it goes up pretty significantly, and so we keep replacing that fleet. We're also prioritizing green vehicles and leveraging grant funding as we look at the transportation fleet. And as we prioritize green vehicles, making sure we have the infrastructure to support those electric buses. They don't go very far if you don't charge them, and so we'll make sure we have our chargers and power set up for those buses. This year, we did take delivery of 5 diesel buses. Those were ordered last year and had a very long delivery time, so they were delivered earlier this school year. We also took delivery of 2 electric buses, which are particularly exciting because they were both fully funded by a grant, so there was no use of other district capital funds. It was fully the grant funds that we were awarded at the end of last year. And looking ahead to next year, the district has already qualified for federal grant that would cover half of the cost of 5 to 6 more electric buses, which brings the cost of those to be about equivalent to what a diesel bus would cost, and will allow us to continue to refresh our bus fleet by adding more of those electric buses. Going forward, the number of electric or diesel buses that we add will depend in part on our success getting grant funding and being able to support the buses with charging infrastructure. So Mr. Kissel is working on that, and we'll continue to invest in the bus fleet. Technology and academic projects are also part of our 5-year capital plan, so we'll continue to maintain one-to-one devices in all grades, continue replacement of obsolete devices. Looking ahead, we are preparing for dark fiber or connectivity for our new schools in the district. And a few projects this year. Paseo Point will have the smart boards in the classrooms replaced this year, and we invested in a 6-year math curriculum, Eureka Math Squared. I'll wrap up with a few slides that just give you an idea of when schools will have projects over the next 5 years. This slide just gives you an idea of the 3 schools that are due for roof replacements. They will all be completed next year contingent upon School Facilities Oversight Board funding, but in the event that we're not able to be approved for funding for all of those projects, we'll shift some back based on the availability of funding. HVAC units, we have several schools that we expect to have HVAC units replaced, and there's a number of units at each school, so this is likely an ongoing process of replacing as units come undue. Exterior paint and weatherization, similar to roofing. These projects we will complete based on the availability of funding, and as many building renewal grants as we can secure next year, we'll move forward with weatherization on those schools. We have a few schools due for interior flooring, Desert Meadows with some carpet this year and due for some tile next year, I believe. And Levine Elementary and Vista Del Sur also due for some flooring replacements. Finally, safety, security, EMS, and fire projects are going on district-wide and happening at pretty much every school. Our card readers are being installed this year and be operational next school year, so all the schools will have card access entry. We've also replaced security cameras at the beginning of this school year, end of last summer, security glass or bulletproof glass at the entries to each school. And looking ahead to next year, things like non-climbable fencing and other security upgrades. So this will likely be an ongoing investment at schools throughout the capital plan. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions about the 5-year capital plan.
Questions, comments?
Can you tell me a little bit more about the solar panels? Like, is that a cost to the district overall, or is there revenue associated, or the rationale with that?
Sure, so the solar panels, just looking at the cost of the project and the energy savings, they have about a 15-year repayment. It ends up being a capital cost up front, but it generates operating savings for the district. So we'd use capital dollars to add the solar panels, and then our electricity bill goes down on the operating side from that point forward. So, but looking at the project holistically, it's about a 15-year payback based on the numbers we've seen so far. Yep. And then also the benefit of the covered parking that comes with the energy generation. Yep.
Any other questions or comments?
Got a quick one.
Go for it.
On our 5-year plan, we guesstimate what is our budget deficit you perceive us to have in the next few years? I know, I'm sure we're in discussion on a lot of that stuff, but what are your thoughts on that?
Well, so my main thought on that is that a lot has to do with our success getting building renewal grant funding from the state. So the roofs and weatherization, the just maintaining components of the buildings is about $15 to $20 million. Aside from that, we really have a little bit of flexibility to fit our projects into what our ongoing capital funding is each year from the DAA and the override, where you get to, and I wouldn't call it a deficit, but funds we need to plan to have available really has to do with planning for the new school that'll be built in a few years, renovations to existing schools, kind of the on top of the routine projects. Yep.
Anything else? Okay, thank you for all 3 presentations tonight.
All
Mr.
right,
Murray.
thank you.
We have a consent agenda. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second. Good, okay, he's caught on. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. 5-0. And I think you want to, do you want to mention? Yeah, go for it.
All right. President Berrigan and governing board members, we do have a commitment in this district for opportunities for advancement, and we have an employee tonight that we are going to name as principal at Trailside Point Performing Arts Academy. She started in this district, was born in this district, and served as an employee, as an instructional associate, teacher, instructional coach, assistant principal, has excelled at every job that she has done. We are very excited to announce that Francine Tate will be the new principal at Trailside Point Performing Arts Academy. Congratulations, Francine.
Congratulations, Ms. Tate. We are very excited to have you, and we know you're going to do a fantastic job. Okay, we have the 25 classified salary schedule, fiscal year 25 classified salary schedule. Do I have a motion? Motion.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded. All those, oh, excuse me, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0. Support staff notices of indefinite term employment. Do I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Okay. All right, it's been motion and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries 5-0. And then administrative contracts for principals. I am going to motion this one. It's one of my favorites.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. That's 5-0. Revised budget number 1. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Ooh, that's a three-way tie. Okay, there you go. It's been motioned and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Okay. Terms and conditions for the acquisition of land for school number 10. Do I have a motion?
Second.
Yes. Been motioned and seconded. All those, oh, excuse me, discussion. All those in favor? Aye. And then items for consideration for the 2025 ASBA legislative agenda. Dr. Sprout, do you have a recommendation?
Yes,
Okay.
in your packet, you have 6 recommendations from administration. Just to give you a broad overview, one is increased base funding by the state. The second is to increase special education funding by aligning their formula to support weights that came from a study done by the ADE on special education costs done in 2022. So number 2, number 1, base allocation. Number 2, special education funding. Number 3 is for the state to properly fund kindergarten by counting kindergarten students as full day rather than half day. Next is a constant that we still as a state have not been able to resolve, and that is the aggregate expenditure limit, as well as the upcoming Proposition 123 expiration. Finally, this is one for those of you who have been on the board, or 2 more. The next is to increase district additional assistance aligned with current inflation levels. And then number 6 is one that I particularly care about, and that is to reduce school district employee health care insurance costs. I was just talking with Member Getsky, who is a state employee. Our teachers and staff and benefits eligible employees are state employees, and the amount of money that we each pay for insurance is dramatically different based on the size of our district, the size of the state, and that should, it would be putting money into our employees' pockets if there were a system that created a larger pool for smaller employers like the Levine School District. And so we feel like this is one that would directly benefit a large portion of our staff. Those are the recommendations from administration.
Okay, and can we pick, I thought we could only pick 5.
You know, that's kind of funny, Charlie. We had this discussion, and we can combine 2. Yeah, Charlie, do you want to, I'm looking at Charlie here. Which one do we want to?
Well, I'll
let you.
I'm going to say
This
some
is the
things.
board's decision.
It is the board's decision. So I have some thoughts first on a few of these that I want to talk about. First of all, if you guys don't know, the National Center for Education Statistics came out with the most recent per pupil amount and where we land amongst all of the other states. We're still 47th. And to put that into perspective, that's with an average of about $6,000 of state funding per student. That obviously changes with weights of students with special needs and things of that nature. But that puts us below just the national average by 5,000. So just to get us to the national average, the middle of the pack,
would require just under double what we are providing for our students in this state. So I will always advocate for more funding until we at least get to the middle, and I'll probably still advocate for that if I'm alive at that point. So that's what I would say to number one with the base allocation. Special education funding, most districts, including our districts, spend more for the students with special needs than we receive in state funding or that we receive in federal funding for the IDEA program. So I will always advocate for additional special education funding as well. The fact that all districts, I think, in the state of Arizona provide full-day kindergarten opportunities. We don't pay our kindergarten teachers half of what we pay our other teachers, and we need to be fully funded for kindergarten as well. Aggregate expenditure limit, we sort of had a 2-year provision that kind of let us leave that alone for a little bit, but now it needs to be referred to the ballot to move that forward. So I think that we need that language. Increasing district additional assistance. Charters receive inflation on district additional assistance funding, or their charter additional assistance funding. The fact that they receive inflation on that and we don't is unfair. So that one I would advocate for. I would advocate to remove number 6. There are other opportunities and things that districts can do for health insurance costs that you can do individually. So I would advocate to keep 1 through 5, but I'm happy to hear any other thoughts.
If we were to combine two, the way that you said, which two would you combine? Like properly funding?
You can't
We
combine.
probably
Oh, you said you
can't
can.
combine.
It was
Okay.
a,
There's
it was
like
a
you could-
shot, but and then I looked at it.
Too many
I
of
don't
them.
think-
Yeah, there's a lot. I was
And-
say,
and-
how could you combine those?
And President Berrigan is correct. We do have other angles on the health insurance. In fact, the governor has proposed some funding to go towards researching that, I believe, that may show up in the budget as well. I think from my perspective, it's just an awareness that there is a very different system, but we can fight that one through a different routes, so.
Yeah. Thoughts, questions?
They're all so important. It's
I
hard
know,
to
I like
choose,
Charlie.
but if
I like Charlie's idea of kind of sneaking in that 6th one and see.
It was funny, Charlie and I were in a meeting the other day, I'm like, let's throw on a 6th one, and then I think we just got so excited about it, we didn't
Yeah.
remember the rules of the game.
There are
so.
rules. We must abide by these rules. Okay,
I'm
I'm
gonna go
gonna,
with the first 5.
okay, I'm gonna make a motion that we go with the first 5. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been motioned and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. There we go. And comments from the board, Ms. Getzky.
I have had the opportunity now to visit every school in the district. I did a little around the world tour, and thank you to some of the staff that went with me and chaperone. The one thing I can say is I had not been to every school before this. I had probably been to about 4 of the 10 of them before my role here in the governing board. But you can tell that you have created such a safe environment for those students. They know you by name, you know, your presence is well known. I had multiple kids at every campus come up to me and give me a hug, and they've never seen me before, so they feel safe where they're at. It's to visit the classrooms. I actually had an opportunity to visit Mr. Rivera's classroom or coding class cafe when I was at Desert Meadows, and that was to see him in action is just like he is in here. He's such a great leader, and so thank you to everybody who spent time with me. I hope to visit again. And also, I guess, wrapping up Teacher Appreciation Week and this school year, thank you to all you guys do for you and your staff, because you guys make a big difference in this community, and you probably don't get told that enough, but you got 2 more weeks. Hang in there.
Is that big?
So much to celebrate today, but congratulations, Rogers Ranch and Ms. Hamburg and your whole team for doing that. And it's exciting to see all that you've accomplished and that they'll be able to carry on even, I'm sure, without your leadership, so I'm sure it was a team event, but appreciate that. That's a really cool accomplishment. With Math All-Stars, it's such a cool program, and my son's been doing it the last 2 years, and I wanted to point out, like, as part of teacher appreciation and things too, the amount of effort it takes not only for these kids, but the teachers and the administrators who are encouraging them, they're setting up incentives, showing that I don't even know everything that they're doing, but there's so much work going on behind the scenes to help them with that. And I know that talking to the teachers about it, they've commented to me how they go to teach something in class and the kids are like, oh yeah, I've seen that on Math All-Stars. And so they were saying how, because I had some of the teachers ask me with getting a new curriculum, are we still gonna have Math All-Stars? Because it's been so helpful to have these kids familiar with topics before they even teach it. And so I really appreciate that because I think it's exciting for the kids, but also the teachers have really appreciated it. And then the LEAP event, that was really amazing. I have a 7th grader, so I went and we have new thoughts on high school, which is really exciting, and we've been kind of stressed about that even in 7th grade. So it was so well done. I talked to a lot of the booths, and everyone was so impressed with the organization and just how well attended it was, and they were so complimentary. And I know I've talked to lots of parents who just really appreciated that information, and it's been really helpful. So I'm excited to hear we're going to do it 2 times a year so we can have that information because it was just really well done and very helpful. So I appreciate all the effort that went into that. And good luck on the last 2 weeks, everyone. I'm going to make it.
Dr. Watkins.
Very brief, just congratulations on another great school year for the district, and I'm proud of our new principal at Trailside Point. Good job.
Yeah. Congrats.
Ms. Anderson.
Not a lot of comments, but just, we just really appreciate all of the things that all of you guys do to impact our community, and so it just doesn't go unnoticed. We appreciate everything that you guys are doing, so thank you.
When I reflect on staff appreciation, I just think even in our beautiful little Levine here, all of the things that kids learn every single day, whether that's instructional or skills or whatever we're working with them on, that's got to be thousands, if not tens of thousands of new things that students are learning every day, and multiply that by every single day that they are in your classrooms with your staff. That's just mind-blowing to me, that we are teaching them new things every single day to that degree is just exceptional. And it is a profession that is not valued enough, and I hope that your communities have made you and your staff all feel valued this week, and I hope that as a board we make you feel valued. We try to do that through the compensation that is offered, though I don't think will ever be enough. And with that, we have a call to the public regarding a non-agenda item, I believe. Okay. The call to the public is on the regular board agenda to provide everyone the opportunity to be heard. The governing board understands the importance of communication with the public and welcomes and values your comments, concerns, input, and praise. The governing board cannot comment or answer issues brought up at call to the public because only items listed on the agenda for discussion or action may be addressed. This does not mean that your comments will be forgotten or that the board does not care what you think. I will discuss those items with the superintendent, and every effort will be made to answer your question and resolve your concerns. Thank you for caring about the children of the Levine Elementary School District and for taking time out of your busy schedule to address the board. And tonight we have, I can't read that name.
Jeanette, right?
Do we have, okay.
I have really bad handwriting.
That's okay.
4th grade.
Yes. I tried.
I'm so sorry about that.
That's
Well, first
okay.
of all,
It may be my vision.
or just my handwriting. Thank you guys so
And
much.
I'm sorry, before you start, you have 2 minutes. Dr. Sprout has a timer, I believe, so please begin.
Okay, well, my name is Jeanette, and I am a community resident and parent. I'm also a member of the Levine Coalition, and I'm here to address important topics regarding youth and their well-being, including promoting healthy choices in mental health, awareness related to substance misuse, challenges such as e-cigarettes, also known as vaping, marijuana misuse, and the dangers of opioid misuse. Unfortunately, recently I had a conversation with a 3rd grader who found their teenage siblings vape and tried it. I was also advised by a key informant that a child who had seen a 6th grader with a marijuana vape in one of our Levine schools. This is heartbreaking. And our children are getting younger and more exposed to these misuse dangers. According to the Levine's Community Needs Assessment conducted last year in 2023 and the Arizona Youth Survey in 2022, the coalition uncovered these details for our Levine youth. Marijuana and marijuana concentrates are among the top 4 most popular drugs, and the top substances used by our Levine youth were alcohol, e-cigarettes, marijuana, and marijuana concentrates. In a given 30-day period, the 8th graders tended to use alcohol more than any other substance, while 10th and 12th graders used marijuana more often. Our precious Levine 8th graders had a higher 30-day alcohol use, marijuana use, and marijuana concentrate use than their peers in all of Maricopa County and the state of Arizona. This highlights early initiation of substance misuse and youth-favorable attitudes. According to the AYS, 66% of youth in Maricopa County present a risk of low perception of harm of substance use. If we are to protect the future health of our youth, marijuana use prevention is critical. Marijuana abuse is a risk factor for opioid use disorder as well. This suggests that if we don't address these other issues, our Levine youth may face an increased vulnerability to opioid misuse. I'm eager to know, just gonna finish my question. I'm eager to know what preventative measures are being taken to reverse this trend, and how can the Levine community support your schools in safeguarding our youth and families?
Okay. Thank you for your time, and we'll have Dr. Sprout or one of his cabinet members connect with you.
Thank you, guys.
redeemneighborhoods@gmail.com.
Yes, ma'am, and
Okay.
I'm representing the coalition today,
Okay.
not the organization. So thank you guys so much. Thank you, everybody. We love you guys. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Okay, we need to motion to adjourn to executive session, please.
Motion.
Second.
Motion and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
We'll see each other back here on June 13th. Do I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
Second.
Motion and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Good night.